Hello there and a warm welcome to the home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Tonight, the end of the road for John Mahama's lawyers in their quest to demand accountability through cross-examination of EC chairperson Jean Mensa. The Supreme Court this afternoon affirmed its decision not to allow Mr. Mahama reopen his case as it fixed a firm date for judgment in the 2020 election petition. Go and apologize for your predetermined agenda comments. Supreme Court orders Dominic Ayine.
We accept the apology of learned counsel for the contemnor. We, however, order that the contemnor purges his contempt by retracting the scandalous statement on the very same medium before Thursday, the 25th of February 2021, when the court will reconvene.
All of that and more. Former MP for Tamale Central, Inusa Foseni, granted bail to the tune of 100,000 Ghana cedis with one surety. He is being investigated for asking NDC flag bearer John Mahama to run a parallel government after declaration of the December 7 polls. The former NDC MP insists his comment does not breach the peace of the nation.
Well, I also said in my statement that the statement appearing on Pan-African TV is not offensive conduct, and that the statement that I made could not by any stretch of imagination breach the peace.
Also tonight, pressure is mounting on government to take a definite stance on the growing activities of the LGBTQ+ community in Ghana.
I don't believe that in Ghana so far a sufficiently strong coalition has emerged which is having that impact on public opinion that will say, change it. Let's then have a new paradigm in Ghana.
Coming up later in business, Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry expressed worry over low participation of Ghanaian businesses in the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Awareness is very low among the SMEs. They don't seem to really understand what the AFTA is, how they can take advantage of the AFTA, the protocols, how they can get access to other markets, and how they can incorporate AFTA activities into their strategies for 2021 and beyond.
These and more coming up in the next 1 hour 30 minutes with me, Gifty Andopia. Let me take you through the details of those stories now. There has been a total of 6 court applications filed by the 2020 NDC presidential candidates John Dramani Mahama, demanding answers from the EC chairperson Jean Mensa on how she supervised the conduct and declaration of the 2020 elections. All 6 processes were shut down by the justices of the Supreme Court, 3 times as a 9-0 decision and the other 3 as 7-0. The 6th was dealt with this afternoon as lead counsel for Mr. Mahama fell on scripture in a push to have the Supreme Court set aside its earlier decision not to allow a reopening of the petitioner's case.
The law required him to state as part of the testimonies he would rely on the specific testimonies or documents he wanted the chairperson of the first respondent that petitioner has summoned before us to produce to aid the petitioner's case on the alleged strength of the depositions. As part of pre-trial processes, the parties and this court could have had the opportunity to tell me if truly the documents were not available in petitioner's custody, as happened in the application to produce originals of the polling station results, or the testimony sought was relevant to the settlement of the matters in controversy in this petition, as happened in the application to serve interrogatories. Statutes are construed and applied as a whole. No party or court may take part of a law and urge it to be applicable while ignoring the rest of the statute. Sections 10 to 14 of the Evidence Act lays down the burden of producing evidence and the burden of persuasion squarely on the party that alleges any position of fact or issue of law. Further, we stick to the time-honored principles that the Supreme Court has adopted in circumstances in which it reviews its decisions. Thus, in the case of Mechanical Lloyd Assembly Plant versus Nati, 1987-88 Ghana Law Report 598, page 603.
The 7 justices hearing the case were joined by 2 other judges of the Supreme Court, Justice Tanko and Justice Professor Mensah Bonsu. They listened to arguments backing the call for a review of the decision not to allow the petitioner reopen his case.
I think that it represents a classic case of a losing party seeking to re-argue its appeal under the garb of a review application. It is important that this court should set its face against such endeavor in order to protect the integrity of the review process. This court has retreated several times without number that the review jurisdiction of this court is not an appellate jurisdiction, but a special one. Accordingly, an issue of law that has been canvassed before a bench of 5 and on which the court has made a determination cannot be revisited in the review application simply because the losing party does not agree with the determination. This, unfortunately, is the substance that the current application before this court is. End of quote. The application and the review was dismissed because it was not based on any known law or rules of practice. We dismiss the instant application as being wholly without merit.
The court then dealt with issues related to the contempt for comments that former Deputy Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine made. Dr. Ayine apologized to the court and subsequently apologized using the same medium that the court had directed that he uses.
I thought I had maintained that approach to the press briefing, but on hindsight, I actually crossed the line in suggesting that the court had a predetermined agenda, among others, to rule against the petitioner. My attention was drawn to this fact immediately after the press briefing by Frank Davis, Esquire, to whom I am grateful. It was not my intention to scandalize the court or to bring it into disrepute. In the circumstances, I wish to apologize unreservedly to the court. Yours sincerely, Dr. Dominic Akuruting Ayine, signed. And for those of you, I'm sure Mr. Frank Davis is not a stranger to the press. He's standing here to my right. I remember on the 16th of February when I finished addressing the press, he walked up to me and reminded me that the phrase that I had used, that there was a predetermined agenda, had crossed the line. And that is when I started thinking about whether or not I had crossed the line. And I agree absolutely with Mr. Frank Davis and those of you who think that I crossed the line on that day. I wish to unreservedly apologize to the court, that is the Supreme Court of the Republic of Ghana, as well as the justices in particular who sat on that day. There was no intention on my part to impugn their integrity. I was just expressing a sentiment with respect to the ruling of that day. And I want to render an unqualified apology and to retract the words that I used on that day in their entirety.
The election petition has been adjourned to 4th of March for the judgment to be delivered by the 7 judges hearing the case. The contempt aspect of the matter has, however, been adjourned to Thursday, where the court will decide whether to accept the apology that was rendered by Dr. Ayine and whether he has purged himself of contempt or not. And so that is how things remain for now. Reporting for Joy News from the Supreme Court, my name is Joseph Akable.
Now, former Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Inusaf Hussaini, has been granted bail to the tune of 100,000 Ghana cedis with one surety. The court this morning handed over the former Roads and Highways Minister to the police to assist with further investigations over comments that he made on television. This was after the accused person had, on several counts, refused to honor the police's invitation. Mr. Inusa is being investigated by the police over his comment that asked NDC flag bearer John Mahama to run a parallel government after the declaration of the December 7 polls. Listen to the former NDC MP who insists his comment do not breach peace of the nation. He spoke to Joy News' Kwesi Parker Wilson.
I went to court on the court summons, and the court handed me over to the police to assist them in investigations. So here at the police station, they played the recorded version of the Alhaji of the 12th.
Oh, so they played that interview to you?
Yes, on the 12th of December, and asked what I make of it. Then I explained. If you listen to the interview very well, There are two things that I said. One was that I was expressing a view. And second, if the flag bearer of the NDC was mandated to take my views. And clearly, he didn't take my views. And at that time that I said those things, plans were far advanced to go to court. So it was just political talk and nothing else. And so they said I should reduce it into writing. So I gave them a statement. And I've been bailed. I've been told to come back tomorrow.
But have you been charged or anything?
But the charge was the basis upon which I appeared in court.
I thought the judge struck that out.
No, the charge sheet.
On the charge sheet, yes.
Yes, the offense they are investigating was the basis for the court summons.
Okay.
And that is offensive conduct conducive to the breach of the peace.
Sure.
Well, I also said in my statement that the statement appearing on Pan-African TV is not offensive conduct. It's not offensive. And that the statement that I made could not by any stretch of imagination breach the peace.
So you don't regret, making those comments?
They were just views. They were just opinions. They were just, and at the time that those view was expressed and those statements were made, I knew that they would not come to, they mean nothing. Because at that time, I can tell you as a matter of fact, that I knew that the NDC was far advanced in preparations towards going to court.
But on a hindsight, would you say you shouldn't have said that, perhaps?
Why? I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there because it touches on my right to freedom of expression. And I don't want to delve into that. Because I will not be, at this time, prepared to curtail my right to be able to express my views.
These the social, cultural issues, if you like. I don't believe that in Ghana so far a sufficiently strong coalition has emerged, which is having that impact on public opinion that will say, change it. Let's then have a new paradigm in Ghana.
Is that something you would get behind?
I think that it is something that is bound to happen. And when that happens,
what's going to provoke it? What's going to make it happen?
Oh, it's the activity, like elsewhere in the world. Like elsewhere in the world, the activities of individuals, of groups.
That was in 2018, an interview on Al Jazeera. Tonight, pressure is mounting on government to take a definite stance on the growing activities of the LGBTQ+ community in Ghana. In less than a week, up to 5 major anti-gay rights and other faith-based organizations, including the Catholic Bishops' Conference and the Christian Council, have called on government to clamp down on the operations of pro-LGBT groups in the country. These calls come on the back of a fundraiser event organized by the LGBT community to open its office space in Accra. The event, which was attended by some members of the diplomatic corps, had courted widespread opposition to the movement. We will be hearing from journalists against LGBTQ+ shortly. But before that, here is a sample of responses from ministerial nominees when asked of their stance on LGBT matters by Parliament's Appointments Committee.
To 164. The provisions of Article 162 and 163 in this Constitution are subject to laws that are reasonably required in the interest of a national security, public order, public morality, and for the purpose of protecting reputations. What it means, in my humble opinion, is that laws can be passed in the interest of public morality, public order, national security, that limit. In fact, if you read the side note, it talks about limitations on rights and freedoms. So I'll give you a current example. Today, there appears to be advocacy starting for LGBT activities in this country. The Attorney General designate, when he came here, made the argument that customary law is accepted by the Ghanaian Constitution. Customary law frowns on LGBT activities. Now, people say, despite the criminal code and the general provisions of customary law, it's just free expression. They are just advocating for it. But if you ask me about law and background, I'll say that is where somebody like me will argue that then we should be able to contemplate legislation in the interest of public morality, which will not be against the Constitution, but will now say that you cannot advocate for and promote LGBT activities in this country.
Our laws are clear on such practices. It makes it criminal. Section 104 of the Criminal Code prohibits one from having unnatural carnal knowledge with another person. So on the issue of its criminality, it is non-negotiable. On the issue of our cultural acceptance and norms to these practices are also frowned upon. And so for me, these are two distinct clarity on the matter, and that is what I strongly stand for.
Well, those are some responses from, you heard Kojo Ponkuma, Minister Designate for Information, and Sarah Adjoa for Minister Designate for Children, Gender and Social Protection. But are these assurances enough for Ghanaians? Well, not according to Executive Director of the National Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values, lawyer Moses For Amwening. He maintains that more pressure will be piled on government to deal with this situation.
Well, quick point. Let me just say that on the side of the government, since our press briefing on Wednesday, the president issued instructions, so the office has been closed. I don't know whether you're aware of it.
Oh, the office has been closed.
Things that are you aware of it? The office has been closed.
Oh, I see. That's news to me.
Great. Now, there are other things that are going to happen during the course of the week. And if you hear at the vetting, all the ministers of Interior, the Attorney General, and all the other Foreign Affairs consistently stating their position on the matter, that is a reflection of the government's position. But that doesn't mean that we don't need to put more pressure. And I totally agree with what Dr. Fayose is saying, that let us hold the legislature, let us hold the presidency to ensure that our laws are clean. And we're working on it already. Indeed, we have a national dialogue series that is gathering information so we can pass a comprehensive legislation on the matter. On the issue of violence, you see, the LGBT movement has a strategy. All they want is to provoke us for people to do certain things, and then they will say, oh, they are being hurt or they are being... So our coalition, our focus is winning with the love of God. That is our tagline. So we're urging nobody, don't touch anybody. If you see anybody who has that penchant, report to the police or bring that person to us. We will love them and throw our hands around them, and then we can deal with it. But a quick one on the church itself, my brother. The issue has become so bad that there are even very senior religious leaders, journalists, politicians who are involved in the whole matter in this country now. That's how bad it is. And therefore, changing even the policy.
Well, that's for Moses For Amwening there. Well, tonight, a group calling itself Journalists Against LGBTQ+ is demanding the immediate declaration of members of the diplomatic corps who were openly advocating for gay rights as persona non grata and their privileges stripped. On phone now is convener for the journalist Isaac Boama Darko. Isaac, good evening.
Good evening, madam.
So first of all, Ghana's constitution guarantees freedom of association. Anybody can belong to a group they want. Why do you want them? Why are you asking, or why are you taking offense when people are forming, groups to express this freedom?
Yes. Good evening once again to you and your listeners. But if the constitution of this country allows freedom of association, then I will ask the Article 21 of the 1992 Constitution as stated. It only gives rights to form association or belong to legitimate associations, not illegal ones, not illegitimate ones, not immoral associations. So this one we think is an immoral act and should not be condoned. And therefore, again, let's say if armed robbers come together and form an association, let's say Armed Robbers Association of Ghana, do they also have the right to form such an association? So our stand of journalists is clear, it's simple, that these two ambassadors or diplomats, that is the Australian High Commissioner to Ghana, His Excellency Andrew Barnes, and the Danish Ambassador, His Excellency Tom Norris, they have been accused of funding the community space, not even accused, because we were told in a communique issued by the LGBTI plus Ghana Association in Ghana that these people were there to raise funds. They helped them raise funds. And as a result of their action, we, journalists against LGBT Ghana, is drawing the attention of government to declare these persons, their presence, the presence of these diplomats in the country as unfit.
What do you say to those who say that request is a bit of a stretch and that is a bit on the extreme?
Please come again.
What do you say to those who believe that this position you've taken to declare these members of the diplomatic corps as you put it, persona non grata, is a bit of an extreme request?
That is their view. That is their view, because our check as a group with the security agencies has revealed that they do not know the location of the LGBTI office. Yes, I heard Reverend Formani saying the office has been closed, and we can also boldly tell you that the office has not been closed. The police or the security agencies do not know the actual location of the office.
Right.
Government might be deceiving us, telling us that the office has been closed, though I have not seen any official statement from government.
Okay, hold on for me, Mr. Boamadakung. Let me bring in Frank Doi. Frank is the acting country director of Amnesty International. Hello, Frank. Good evening.
Good evening, madam.
Right, Frank, what is Amnesty International's thoughts on this developing issue?
Okay, thank you very much for having me this evening. I think it's important for us to place Amnesty International's position in the right perspective. Now, Amnesty International, as a human rights organization, has two main components of its work on which advocacy, campaigns, and education, as well as awareness raising, is based. The first component is that of promoting human rights. The other component is the protection of human rights. Now, there are rights that we promote, that we advocate for, that we support, and there are rights also that we protect. Every right that Amnesty International Ghana promotes, we also protect. And our promotion and protection of rights is based on our belief that every person must enjoy all the fundamental human rights that are enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
So what's the position?
Our Constitution, Chapter 5 of Ghana's Constitution, makes provision for the enjoyment of fundamental human rights and freedoms without discrimination. So in terms of the activities of the LGBT community, we would like to find out, what exactly it is that they are doing, that is creating or generating this uproar. Because clearly.
So am I right to assume? Sorry to barge in there. Am I right to assume that the Amnesty International doesn't have a position as yet on this matter in Ghana?
Now, Amnesty International Ghana is under the umbrella body of Amnesty International Global. Now, Amnesty International Ghana's operations, our activities and programs, are in conformity with the laws of Ghana. Right. So when it comes to LGBT rights, community rights, people's actions and activities, the only way we will be concerned about their activities is when they engage, in actions or public events that clearly offend the provisions of our law. And until we are able to clearly identify what exactly it is that they are doing, which is contrary to the provisions of our law, it will be very difficult for us, for example, to support those who are calling for their activities to be brought to an end in the country. For example, we talk about the closure of the offices or the advocacy for the closure of their offices. The question we would like to ask is, what exactly it is that they are doing? Are they using their office as a rendezvous for criminal activity? Are they organizing events and activities in their office that offend the Constitution of Ghana or the laws?
This is the position that people who say that have taken. Their position is that this is LGBT, as far as LGBT, activities are concerned, Ghana's Constitution criminalizes it. And so if you're creating an office to whether or not anybody is going to find you in the act which the Constitution prescribes, it still presupposes that you are pushing for an act or an activity that is prohibited by the Constitution. That's the position that those people who make the push come from.
Okay, thank you very much. So Amnesty International Ghana's position is this, that we all need to respect our laws. We need to abide by the laws that we have that regulate our conduct and behavior. And so if any individual or group of persons are seen to be engaging in activities that clearly offend our laws, then the law must take its course. But if they are not involved in any activity that violates or that is contrary to the provision of law, then it is important that we protect their fundamental human rights. Okay. Because our Constitution talks about the dignity of all persons without discrimination. And we believe that every individual or group of persons in Ghana have dignity. And their dignities must be protected at all times, unless, of course, they engage in a criminal activity that can be identified, then the processes of law will have to be invoked. Okay. And so our position is clear that we do not encourage, we do not support, we do not promote gay rights or LGBT rights in Ghana. But what we do is to protect their fundamental human rights that are guaranteed by the laws of Ghana and other internationally recognized human rights laws. Okay. That is clearly Amnesty's position in Ghana.
Mr. Doi, I'll say a very big thanks to you, but are you still there with me, journalist against LGBT?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I'll take your final thoughts on this. And
so my final comment is simple. That the actions of these LGBT plus Ghana will not affect any CSO, will not affect Amnesty International, but it will affect our children and our future as a country. And they are partaking in they are partaking in the opening of the office to me and to us as journalists against LGBT Ghana offends our law, and therefore we should not just sit down and allow them continue their stay in our country.
Mr. Boamadako, thank you very much for your time. Isaac Boamadako speaks for a group calling itself Journalists Against LGBTQ in Ghana. And also you heard Mr. Doi there, who is the acting country director, I beg your pardon, of the Amnesty International Group. This is Joy News Prime. I am Gifty Andopia. We're going to take a very quick break. We're right back with business. Do stay with us.
Hello, good evening. It's time for business. I'm Charles Aite. The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry is expressing worry over the low participation of Ghanaian businesses in the African Continental Free Trade Area. It is against this backdrop that the Chamber is organizing a virtual seminar on the right strategies for local businesses to fully benefit from the pact. Chief Executive of the Chamber, Mark Bedo-Abuaji, spoke to Joy Business ahead of the program slated for Wednesday, the 24th of February.
Have to do more. The number of companies that have been able to export and after is relatively low, much lower than what we expected. And that is the main reason why we are organizing this program. We need to do a lot more of sensitization, orientation for the business community to understand the after and how they can take full advantage of it. So I think we still have more to do in terms of how businesses in Ghana can take advantage of this after.
Okay, and I'm sure there are business owners watching and wonder whether or not they qualify to be a part of this seminar. So what businesses are you targeting? Small businesses, medium-scale enterprises, or the big ones?
Well, it's cut across whether you are big or whether you are small. You qualify to be part of this after and qualify to take advantage of it. But one thing we have realized is that awareness is very low among the SMEs. They don't seem to really understand what the after is, how they can take advantage of the after, the protocols, how they can get access to other markets, and how they can incorporate after activities into their strategies for 2021 and beyond. So basically, that is what we are doing on Wednesday to make sure that businesses really understand the protocols. The protocols are quite technical, and we are going to break it down into the more simplest form for an SME to understand, and also look at how they can take advantage of. You don't have to be so big a company or a business to take advantage of after. I think there is something for almost everybody, all businesses to take advantage of within the after.
Now, Canada is poised to assist Ghana in our quest for economic recovery following COVID-19. Canadian High Commissioner to Ghana, Kati Chaba, in her first media interview here in Ghana since she took on the role, told me that her country hopes to improve ties with Ghana.
Canada has been, in fact, a partner with Ghana in terms of supporting Ghana's development and growth for decades now, and we plan on continuing. We have been pleased to be able to provide support in many different areas, but including significantly around water and sanitation, around health, around agriculture, and around empowering women and supporting small and medium enterprises. Let me give you a few examples of the kind of support that we have provided over the years. So through the provision of toilet facilities, we have enabled 65,000 people to now live in open defecation-free communities, which is a major improvement in terms of health and safety. We've also helped to provide to over 60,000 people access to clean water through solar mechanized water delivery systems, and where those systems are not possible, through the drilling of boreholes and through the collection of rainwater. So that's another significant achievement. And then we've provided support to 23,000 women soybean farmers and have helped them to increase their productivity by 200%. So of course that has a major impact on their livelihoods and on the well-being of their families. And then finally, through the Modernizing Agriculture in Ghana program, we have provided support to millions of farmers to gain access through extension services to the kinds of innovation and advice and technology that they need to be able to increase their productivity and to improve their livelihoods and the well-being of their families. So those are some of the achievements that we've reached so far. And of course, going forward, we are going to stay focused on Ghana's inclusive economic recovery from the COVID pandemic, and we'll be looking at doing that through various ways, including some of the ones I've mentioned already: climate smart agriculture, training and education, and so on. But we also want to be focusing more on things like innovation and new forms of financial partnerships, and again supporting women's economic empowerment. So those will be some of the things that we will be focusing on going forward.
And let's now leave you with our Money Lab for this evening. My name is Charles Ayete. Coming up next is sports.
On Money Lab today, we begin a new series on the basics of insurance. So insurance is a big topic, sometimes controversial, when we talk about the financial services universe. For many people, they misinterpret insurance to mean investments. For others, they see it as a savings anchor. For others, it's just one of those financial products you can buy. But on Money Lab, we are going to be breaking it down so you can appreciate how you can make insurance become a great benefit to your financial wellness journey. When we talk about insurance, in simple terms, it is just a safeguard that is meant to help you minimize risk or to overcome the financial consequences of a risk. That is to say that insurance comes in as an intervention only when there is the risk of a loss or the risk of any danger that can hurt you financially. Without that, insurance doesn't kick in. Join us tomorrow as we get a bit deeper into what insurance is and how you can make it work to your advantage.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment with me, Ore Kwampofo. We do start off with the African Under-20 Cup of Nations that's currently ongoing in Mauritania. And the Black Satellites are in action against Gambia in their final group game. Remember, they head into this final match day with 4 points, having beaten Tanzania by 4-0 and then drawing 0-0 with Morocco. But as things do stand, Ghana are third because the Black Satellites are losing by 2-1 against Gambia. And what that essentially means is that the Gambians would finish on second and Ghana would finish third. But there is still a possibility of the Black Satellites qualifying to the next round, courtesy a third place finish. 2 of the best third place teams would join the top 6 teams to make the quarterfinals. That's the 8 teams. And so there is still hope for the Black Satellites, but it's always good to, qualify when you're in charge and finishing either first or second to assure yourself of a good draw in the next round rather than finishing third and then going to meet a top team in another group. I'll be keeping you up to date on what happens in Mauritania when I do come back for the second part of the sports segment. But let's do some more sports stories where the chairman of the National Chapters Committee, Elvis Herman Hesse, has said that the issues at Hearts of Oak can be solved if the supporters have a roundtable discussion with the board. He was speaking on Joy Sports Link on Saturday.
What is happening to Hearts of Oak today, it's not new. I am very young, but I know it's not new. I have read a lot about Hearts of Oak. Time back, we've gone so many years without League Trophy, even though not 10 years. Okay, but we've gone like this before. How do we solve it? Let's sit on a round table. Let's respect the view of each other. Okay, and then let's see where the problems are. Let's identify them. Because until we identify the problems, every season we keep giving supporters hope. Oh, we've got the best players in the continent. We've got the best players in Ghana. Then we start, and then, hey, there we go again. Then we start counting another year. So I think that I am still focusing on our demands because I want us to solve problems. And I believe that me being here is about the way forward. I want us to solve problems. One of the major ways for us to solve our problems, both on the pitch and outside the pitch, is for us to have a roundtable discussion.
And that is something, that's an opportunity that you guys have not had?
Yes, we believe that we've not had that opportunity for some time now. Some of these supporters talk because they've experienced it before. Okay, where there are crises in Hearts of Oak and a forum is called quickly or an emergency meeting is called. Others say, no, now the club is a corporate, but you see, the traditions of the club cannot also be left out of the corporate thing. The moment we make that mistake, there we go, we will have problems. We should be able to consider where the club, how the club was run in the past, some of the good things. We cannot take everything that was done in the past, but we should look at some of the things that were done in the past. Look, Hearts of Oak is the only club in Ghana with very good structures. When you talk about the National Chapters Committee, we started it before Asante Kotoko came in with the National Cycles Council. So if you talk about structures, the structures are there. Those who came before us, they've laid down the structures for us. It seems to me that we are a bit deviating from the structures. I don't know if not, you're getting my point.
Sure.
Let's come back. Let's do a holistic, let's check ourselves and see what are we not doing right.
But that's how we'll be wrapping up on the first part of the sports segment. The big story is that the Black Satellites are losing 2-1 against Gambia at the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. We're bringing you updates in the second part of the sports segment.
And you're welcome back. Join us, Prime. A bit of, destruction there.
I miss you too, Gifty. I know.
What's happening in entertainment? If I allowed you, I know you go on and on.
So this evening, let's stay with the conversation about gospel musician collaborating with secular musicians. So Emmanuel Smith is a Ghanaian who is living in the UK. He's a gospel musician, and he was on Hit FM this Sunday, just over the weekend.
That was yesterday, right?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So he's saying that gospel musicians, they must try as much as possible to, you know, collaborate, just, you know, musicians. Do what you have to do. Is he
talking on the back of the issues that Kwame Eugene had?
Yes. No, Celestine Donkor had.
Celestine Donkor rather had with, but I think Kwame Eugene also did one with
Obapa Christie. Exactly. But he's also looking forward to collaborating with Sarkodie.
All right.
So he's telling the gospel musicians
to do more of that.
Do more.
Okay. Well, I have my own thoughts on this. Is it about losing or gaining, or is it about having a direction as a gospel musician? That is this what God is asking you to do?
Well, the conversation.
But whom am I?
Yeah.
Whom am I? Whom am I?
The conversation still continues.
Okay.
So, I mean, a lot of people
but I am hearing of exciting news about medical.
Yeah. He's set to release an EP. What's very exciting is that we get to see Baby Island.
Oh,
because Baby Island. That's the baby's name. So if you haven't seen Baby Island, we have pictures of Baby Island, which is actually the cover of the EP.
That's a copycat. I mean, that's like a photocopy
of her father.
It's a girl, right?
Yeah, it's a girl.
Oh,
it's a girl.
This is so heartwarming.
And this will be like the third celebrity. Male celebrity, you know, having to use their children for covers.
So the first is who?
Sarkodie. We have Sarkodie.
Stonebwoy.
Stonebwoy
has his kids in the
video, but we're talking about the album cover.
Okay.
So we have Sarkodie. We have. Strongman Burner, and we also have so that's like the Sarkodie. We have Strongman Burner, and we also have Killbait. So we're looking, you know, forward.
I want to have a baby.
Oh, really? Yes, you will have a baby.
Was that on air?
Where are we going to put it? Will we put it behind?
The baby won't be it will be a he or she.
Oh, okay. I'm just talking about the photo of the baby.
Yes, it'll be on the pulse.
Yeah.
It'll be on the.
Oh, okay.
We'll use the baby to brand the
Congratulations.
Pulse. But that's very pretty. Medical. We wish him all the best with that one.
Still on some baby news. Banky W. He's a Nigerian musician. Adesua Etomi is his wife, and they had a beautiful baby boy. We can't see the baby boy, but we have pictures of the. You know, baby bomb, and he is also set to release a song on Friday.
Is it about the baby?
Well, we're hoping so. He says "Final Say." That's like
marriage
the title.
Can be sweet. Oh, look at the picture.
Oh yeah,
so nice.
Gifty, will you marry anytime soon? And have pictures like
those are very beautiful pictures. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, you're avoiding the question, but it's okay. But let's move on to some sad news. Well, it's all over the place. Kim and Ye, I like to call them, well, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. Finally, Kim has filed for divorce, and after 6 years,
they've done well.
After 6 years.
But I guess it's not working, and
E-Vibes, he's been talking about, he's been giving us his take on celebrity. You know that the FDA banned the celebrities here.
Endorsing alcohol.
Yes. Here's his take.
What do you think we are doing wrong? Is it that we don't do it in the right way?
Every country has its own laws, rules and regulations. We know.
Okay.
I can't say, but I can speak for myself back home in Nigeria. It's normal. It's been done. I don't know why it's that. I respect the rule of law. I cannot say anything beyond that. All right. Are you guys being affected, or we can't tell?
Yeah.
If as long as general, it's not that they say it was only way I'm going to be affected. They say no. Only male artists can, female can. Me, I will follow. I'll come and help you, the female, and fight.
And that's it, Becky, with the entertainment news, showbiz news, if you like, yeah? Have a good one. And that's it for us on Joy Prime. We're still here on the Joy News channel. You don't want to follow the news. A quick break. We're right back. Welcome back. Now, the Ghana Health Service has stepped up public education on the safety of the COVID-19 vaccines expected to arrive in the country this week. The Ghana Health Service has confirmed it will take delivery of more than 500,000 vaccines for the vaccination. So far, the Oxford-made AstraZeneca and Russian-made Sputnik V vaccines have been approved for the inoculations here in Ghana. Even though the Ghana Health Service has been assuring of the safety of these jabs for use in the country, Ghanaians are divided as to whether or not to receive them. We'll hear shortly from some of them on some of the things that you've been telling us. But first, listen to the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Asiedu-Bequin, giving details on these vaccines earlier on the Super Morning Show today.
So Ghana has signed the indemnity clause for the COVAX facility. If you look at the Sputnik, it is not part of the COVAX facility. So Ghana is yet to sign that arrangement with the present government. Apparently, if you look at the ministry or the president, he wants us to be dealing directly with the stores. So in terms of like AstraZeneca, we actually signed a contract with the Serum Institute of India. So for Sputnik 5 or B, as we talked about, we are yet to get that arrangement done. As I said, we had the signing or the approval done a few days ago, and the government is going to engage the Russian government in that perspective. But as was said by Miao, we are not limiting ourselves to particular vaccines. If you want 40 million doses, then you need to up your game, either treat more COVID rooms or making sure that you get available vaccines. So we are not restricted in terms of the kind of vaccine. So far as the state, the cost is not an issue for us to get the 40 million doses.
Are there any hidden advantages of the fact that on this occasion we are buying from a nation rather than a pharmaceutical company in terms of price and perhaps even diplomatic arrangements to get more or get them quicker? Are those options available to us?
Well, I think that if you look at the Sputnik 5 or V, it's from the Gamaleya Research Institute, which is under the Ministry of Health. So it's directly a government entity. The other products are private oriented. So I don't think it's much of a difference. The issue is we are trying to go to the source of production so that I have that government to source arrangement.
That's Dr. Asiedu-Bequin there. Now the public is divided over whether or not to receive the jabs when they arrive. We put up a post earlier on our social media handles. Let's take a pic of your responses. So we'll ask you whether or not, to what extent you are happy to go for the jab. This one says, local journalist says, I won't unless 6 to 12 months time when I'm comfortable with the side effect of those who will be vaccinating early. Via Jeremiah says, yes, I'm ever ready, any day, anytime. Ghana has good track record when it comes to vaccination and immunization, and I'm ready to be the first person to receive the vaccines, even live on the public. This one too shall pass. Frank Hossel says, when money foodstuffs are being shared, they share it among themselves. All in the name of NPP, they should share the vaccine among themselves. All in the name of NPP. Estino Klucher says, I learned every country is developing its vaccine because it seems the virus is working, or the virus working varies from country to country. If this info is true, then I think the government of Ghana should arise to the task of manufacturing its own vaccine. Clement Amibe says, I think I would take it, but we need to educate the general public more about what happened in South Africa with regards to the drug not meeting its target and some of the side effects of it if someone has been vaccinated. Thank you. Atama Enchi Anthony says, to be sincere, without hiding any thoughts in my mind and without lies, to the actual truth in my clear, open mind and clean heart, expressing whatever is embedded inside me for a long time, which I didn't say, just because I was nervous. But today, by gathering all the courage and motivation, I just want to say that I actually have nothing to say. Seriously, Atama Enchi Anthony there. All right, hopefully we'll be able to educate as many people as possible. But reacting to these concerns, by the way, immunologist at the West Africa Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens, Dr. Yao Bediako, says scientific evidence available on the vaccine rollout in other countries suggests they are safe.
Vaccination is not new. Vaccination has been around for a very long time. And currently, as the Director General himself said, we have vaccines against more than 20 diseases. This is data from the United States showing the effect of vaccination. So these are 3 very debilitating diseases that cause significant mortality in the early 1900s. Diphtheria, polio, and measles. And what I'm trying to show on these graphs is the red dot shows when the vaccine was introduced. So diphtheria is 1921, polio it's 1955, measles is 1963. And I think you can all see that immediately following the rollout of these vaccines, you have a significant decline in the number of cases. The graph there is showing them in hundreds of thousands. So you had 200,000 people with diphtheria. Within 5 years of using the vaccine, that had dropped to about 100,000. And then another 5 years, you drop down to tens of thousands. And now you have 0 diphtheria cases. Currently, 188 million doses as of February 17th have been administered worldwide. We're not talking 2 million or 3 million, 188 million doses. So 188 million people have already received at least 1 dose of COVID, of the SARS-CoV-2 vaccine. The United States has done 56.28 million doses. China has done 40.5. The whole European Union has done 23.38 million, and the UK has done 16.5 million doses. Now, if we are looking at, next slide, please. Now, if you want to look more at the proportion of population that has been vaccinated, Israel has led the world. Israel has already vaccinated 47% of their population. The United Kingdom has vaccinated 23% of their population. These are the same vaccines that are coming to Ghana. So if you want evidence of the safety, well, 188 million have been already administered elsewhere, and there have been very, very few, if any, adverse reactions reported. So once again, if the phase 1, 2, and 3 trials are not enough to convince you, 188 million more doses have been now administered, and there are very few reports of any negative reaction. So once again, this vaccine is safe.
There. Now, police in the Ashanti region have arrested 1 member of an armed robbery gang suspected to have attacked and killed an ambulance driver at Asesewa near Koforidua. Martin Tay was arrested among 5 suspects who allegedly robbed a bullion van and killed a police officer escorting the van at Asukwa Junction in the Adanse Fomena district, making away with 500,000 cedis in cash. Nanaya Jima reports.
Police say those arrested so far have admitted to committing the crime. Another suspect, John Apia, popularly known as Omega, who is 22, is on police wanted list for leading the 2 robbery incidents in the Ashanti and Eastern regions. Ashanti Regional Police Commander COP Akwasi Mensah Duku says the leader is known for bullion van robberies.
Intelligence has it that Omega is a very violent person. Very violent person. He's trigger happy and ready to kill his victim at the least instance. He has also recruited other criminal gangs in other parts of the country and calls on them to embark on his robbery escapades when the need arises. That's why I'm saying the public should help us to arrest this notorious armed robber.
The 5 arrested include Bismarck Osuansa, Azuma Titus, Kofi Matthew, aka Waisa, Kojo Ejapon Labista, and Martin Tay. An amount of 53,934 cedis and 2 Toyota Corolla vehicles have been retrieved from them. A commercial tricycle and 2 motorbikes were among property retrieved from them. There were other property and business ventures which police retrieved as evidence for prosecution. COP Ampofuduku says 5 more suspects, including the gang leader who was part of the ambulance robbery, are on the police wanted list.
The police intelligence established the identity of the suspects and arrested them at their various hideouts at Tachiman in the Bono East region. Some were also arrested in Kumasi, and some also arrested at Kaswa in the central region. Suspect Kofi Matthew, alias Waisa, and Martin Tay, alias Kwakudaku, are already on the wanted list of the Bono East Regional Command for their involvement in Wested Security Bullion Van, which happened on the 8th of May 2020.
The police have called for public support in gathering information on the suspects. For Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
Well, still in the Ashanti region, traders at the Kumasi Central Market claim they are being forcibly ejected without proper relocation arrangements by the city authority. The Metropolitan Assembly has begun barricading the market, compelling the traders to evacuate to pave way for the second phase of the Ketia redevelopment project. Leadership of the traders, however, say they will not move until they have alternative space to trade. Prince Apia reports.
This is the state of the Central Market. After the KME early this year started the second phase of the Ketia redevelopment project, a number of barricades have been erected in the market, suggesting work is set to begin in this area. Now, the traders who have been affected by these number of barricades say that they've not been relocated to a designated point where they can trade to allow the construction to go on. This is one of them, and it is impeding with trading activities here at the Central Market. Traders here say the move by the KME was ill implemented because there is no alternative space to accommodate them.
We are not animals to be driven away this way. Let them give us a proper place to relocate to. The president appointed the KMA mayor. We plead with the government to have mercy. He should speak with other city authorities.
Now, the Ghana Institution of Surveyors is calling for the passage of the Survey Council Bill. This is a result of the recent influx of unprofessional surveyors and land guards in the country. The institution believes the bill will regulate land surveying in Ghana and curb the chaos caused by quacks. They were speaking at the launch of the Council's 16th Surveyors Week and 52nd Annual General Meeting. Judith Awachitando has more.
In Ghana, the acquisition and survey of land is usually a hurdle. This is mostly as a result of the numerous unprofessional land surveyors and land guards in the country. In an attempt to build resilient surveying practice in Ghana, the Ghana Institute of Surveyors wants the government to pass a Survey Council Bill, a law to regulate the surveying business in the country. Dr. John Amaglo is president of the Ghana Institute of Surveyors.
Ghana must come to the party of surveying. We want to welcome the government, religious bodies, banks, business houses, farmers, fishermen, and all others to the party of surveying. We have eaten off the crumbs falling from the entire nation's table. Now it is time to have a complete party to ensure that land issues do not hinder development. This party, which must have some of the choicest meal and drinks, must include 1, the passage of the Survey Council Bill to regulate the surveying business.
In an interview with Joy News, Dr. Amaglo further explained that in the wake of the pandemic, building resilience surveying was not only an asset to surveyors, but to the country as a whole.
Yes, I would say it's not going to, Survey Council bill, if passed into law, is not only going to help the institution, but it's going to help the country as a whole. Just like in the case where we have the Architects Registration Council and we have the Engineering Council, we as surveyors need an act to regulate the practice of surveying in Ghana. Because of the absence of Survey Council Act, you see foreigners trooping into the country and practicing surveying.
Now, economic activities in cocoa, economic activities in cocoa growing communities are grinding to a halt. But that's a story that we're bringing you shortly in Business News.
Hello, good evening. It's time for business. Economic activities in cocoa growing communities are grinding to a halt due to delays in payment of cocoa beans. Now, this problem has persisted for almost 2 months, and the longest many farmers have realized. The Cocoa Board has indicated funds will be released to licensed buying companies. Farmers say the financial difficulties have had a devastating impact. Naya Ojima paid a visit to farmers in Kwelum in the eastern region and has more.
69-year-old Rebecca Mwako has been farming cocoa all her life. Gradually, weeds and diseases are taking over her farm as she watches on helplessly. Already, Rebecca owes laborers and chemical sellers huge sums of money, a debt she hopes to pay after selling cocoa beans from the farm.
I planned cutting down the cocoa to grow cola nuts. At least, the buyers pay the farmers though the amount is small. It is better than seeing my farm destroyed by pests.
Throughout her years in the cocoa farming business, this is the first time Rebecca's money has been delayed for this long after selling to the merchant. The situation is not different on the part of James Ekwamwa, who has already given out 6 bags of cocoa beans to the merchant between December and January. He is bagging another for the merchant, though he has thousands of cedis in debt. James, aside the money owed laborers, is unable to cater for his family.
I have many laborers working on my farm. I still owe the tricycle rider who transport the cocoa to the house. It's difficult to find money to transport my children to school. My prayer is that none of them falls ill.
Life at Kwelum Shidiem has become difficult for many since they all depend on cocoa farming to survive. The impact of the locked up cash has affected the economy. Even traders are not spared. Charles Buensi is a cocoa merchant here. He is indebted to many people in the community but has managed to pay them in bits through the limited funds he occasionally receives from the buying company.
Though there is no money, some bring the beans, but others keep them in the house.
The situation is not only affecting communities in the eastern region, but Ashanti, Western, Bono and other cocoa growing areas. For the Ghana National Association of Cocoa Farmers, the fear is the default in payment of loans contracted for their members. Stevenson Ananibuatin is national president.
Banks, when he gives you money, as to whether there's a problem or not, they don't care. They need their money. So we need government to come in and then help us to pay the money. Otherwise, we are also losing the chance of getting a loan for our members for this season.
And that's how we end business. I'm Charles Aite.
And I am Gifty Andopia, wrapping up the entire news. There is more news at myjoyonline.com. This video is on YouTube on demand as well. Many thanks for your time. We'll see you tomorrow.